We are in the 6th week of the war in Ukraine right now. And we at the European Network of Communities, we are always asked, how is the situation? And the most often asked question is, were you able to deliver the required bulletproof vests? In order to answer this question, I'm now connected with Kevin. Kevin, you're speaking from the Czech Republic. You have a Ukrainian flag behind you, and you are organizing much of the support that we are giving to our friends in Ukraine. Now, how about the bulletproof vests?
So, yeah, we were able to provide them very quickly, at least the first few pieces. Within the first week, we managed to find some. We were able to buy them and get them already to the border. With all of these things, it's very critical with time, because the people are called up and they need to get the equipment. We need to get the equipment to them so that they are able to be sent to where they're needed. So it's quite difficult to find bulletproof vests. A month and a half ago, I knew nothing about bulletproof vests at all. What I came to learn is that there's different types, and the type which is often used by the police, it's often used by security guards, those kind of people. It's called a free A vest, and it will stop a knife attack, it will stop a normal bullet, it will stop a grenade. But it's not sufficient for what you come against when you're in a war. What is needed for this is called a level 4 vest, and they're much heavier, much thicker, basically big, thick pieces of metal which cover the front and the back. And so we needed to find those, and they're not something which is so common. It's not something which you can just go to any shop and buy. There's some army shops which would have a few pieces, but generally there's not many sold. And when you think about the number of Ukrainians who are looking for vests for their friends, it becomes very difficult to get hold of. So we were really lucky in the first days to be able to get the pieces we did. And after that, we've been finding other pieces as we've been going along.
So I would say congratulations, but what other items are needed right now most desperately?
So a lot of what is needed is for defense. So things like night vision, to be able to see when people are coming to attack you, different medical supplies, different things like this. It's very, the needs are constantly changing. Every day there's different things which come up, different demands which are made. So one of the things which we've been able to do as ENC is specifically go after the things which are not arriving. So a lot of aid is coming in from the West, a lot of humanitarian aid is coming, but sometimes there are specific things which are needed, which they say, please, can you get this? Or we've managed to find somewhere which has a bulletproof vest. Can you send payments to buy that and to be able to bring that in?
Yeah, I know this from my own experience. We try to check and it's not so easy. So do you still have things that are coming in? What is the general situation? How much is in stock and how much has to be bought from some other sources?
It's really, really difficult because there's virtually nothing which is in stock. You can go to any army store in most of Europe now and the shelves are empty of the things which are needed to be bought. Occasionally, some private seller will appear who happens to have something, or people find things. In Ukraine, people are incredibly connected now. So everyone who needs something, they let other people know what is needed. And if somebody finds something, they let people know what they found. So very often it's not a direct connection even, it's a friend of a friend who finds something. And then we would get a message saying, please send this money to this person, or please, please do this. And then they're able to get hold of it. So yeah, it's not as easy as we would like it to be.
Yeah, Kevin, you're playing a very special role in ENC right now. I think what you're doing right now is not in your job description or not in the original job description. However, you recently talked to Orest Hjorchak, who is the leader of the Ukrainian community network. We're in very close contact with him and with his friends. What is he reporting?
Yeah, like I was saying, the situation is very dynamic, changing a lot. They're doing a lot of humanitarian help as it's needed, sending things to different orphanages, to different villages, to a lot of different places wherever there's a need. For example, just a couple of days ago, the city council said we need 400 meals, and they found a way of preparing 400 meals and giving 400 meals to the local council. You've probably heard that at the moment there's a lot of people coming from the east to the west of Ukraine. The emphasis of the war has now shifted to the east, and the government have even told people, please now leave. So the number of internally displaced people, about a month ago, it was 6.5 million. I'm guessing it's probably about 10 million by now, just people moved within the country. And a lot of those people are coming, staying in sports halls, staying in wherever there is a place in people's homes. So the needs are ongoing, and they're constantly changing. In the early days, there were a lot of orphans from orphanages in the east who were sent to the west, and they were sent with what they could carry. They were sent with, the clothes they had on, maybe a small bag, and so they need all of the essentials, all of the things which you would need for just normal life. So there's a lot of different and diverse needs.
Another thing that we hear about are constant alarms, air alerts that are happening. Does this affect mainly the east and the cities under attack, or is this something that the rest of the country is also suffering?
Yeah, we probably, in our imagination, we would think it's more in the east now, but the reality is that alarms will go off every day at different times of the day. It can be during the day, it can be at 2 o'clock in the morning, it can be at midnight. A week or so ago, I was looking, I think at midnight, and there's a map where you can see where the alarms are going off. And the whole country was red. The whole country was red at midnight. And so, of course, when the alarms go off, you need to leave your bed, you need to leave wherever you are and find safety. Most of the attacks in the West, most of the missiles have been on infrastructure, have been on military bases, but still, when the alarm goes off, you should find shelter. So it's very difficult to sleep, very difficult to find, just to have a normal night's sleep. It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah, even in the early weeks of the war, we heard that this is the most difficult situation for families, getting your children dressed up and hiding in some air raid shelter. This is nothing that you want to do once or twice per night. And so life is very hard in this respect. Are the Ukrainians getting tired?
I think tired is probably an understatement. People are tired, it's going on, but what choice do you have? When you're being attacked, you have no choice other than to keep going. In general, Ukrainians work incredibly hard. Many of them have more than one job just to make ends meet. And so now they're just working, they're continuing to work, continuing to do everything that they can in this new situation. I think if they had a moment to stop, they would realize just how exhausted they are, but there is no stopping.
Have you ever asked them, how are you?
This is one of those questions which is incredibly difficult. When I've spoken to people, they've confirmed to me what I've read elsewhere, that it's really difficult when people say, you know, how are you? Is your family safe? Because for them, their family is not just their brother and sister, their husband, their wife. It's now 44 million other people. And how on earth can you say that you're okay when all of those people are in danger, when some of those people will lose their lives that very day because of what is happening? There was a very good Facebook post which I saw just a day or so ago, and it was someone saying, how are you? And they start to answer and they say, I'm not okay because Russia is bombing my home. Russians are raping, torturing, killing civilians. I feel guilty for being safe. I'm scared for my family. I'm crying because of the pain of my homeland. I'm being told that my nation shouldn't exist. And that is what people feel like answering, but often, how do you answer? How do you say things are not okay? And so it's a very difficult thing to answer. It's a very difficult thing for people to say how they are.
Yeah, in this particular post, the person erased what he wrote before and said, I'm okay. So that says enough, and I think our prayers are with our friends. Yeah, so there are still a lot of needs. Also, the distribution of goods in Ukraine is becoming increasingly difficult. I just read about only a quarter of the gas stations is still open, so fuel is very difficult to get. How are our Ukrainian friends redistributing the goods that we are sending?
They're sending things by car, by van, by whatever means is possible. One of the good things is that there's a great sense of a family within Ukraine. So if someone needs something in another part of the country, they will make it known. If someone is traveling from one part of the country to another, they say, I'm going from here to here. Does anybody need anything taken? So there's a lot of cooperation between different people, between different groups. Traveling in Ukraine is never particularly easy or comfortable. The road network is not the best. Even in the good times. So it's difficult, it takes time, but they're able to get things where they need to go. One thing which we often forget is just the size of Ukraine. If you look from the Slovak border to the border in the east, it's about 1,700 kilometers. That's similar to going from Amsterdam to Madrid. It's a very long distance. And now, of course, there's a lot of military checkpoints. Sometimes the roads are closed, or because of the situation, you need to go a different route. So it's a very dynamic, very difficult situation, but they're doing what they can.